So I was on the Irish ship to Gaza, the MV Saoirse, which was part of the Freedom Wave, along with the Canadian ship, the Tahrir. We were bringing aid to Gaza in an attempt to break the blockade, break the siege of Gaza that has condemned the 1.5 million people who live in Gaza to live in an open-air prison camp with 300,000 people living on less than $1 a day, two-thirds of people relying on aid to survive, so absolutely horrific conditions. So we were en route to Gaza. We were about 45 miles away from Gaza in international waters when we were surrounded by 5 very large Israeli warships and 20 smaller boats, Zodiacs, boats with high-pressure water cannons. Our boat was pushed in against the other Canadian boat. The two boats crashed into each other, causing a hole in the boat and for the boat to take on water. Our boat was then doused with a high-pressure water cannon, which resulted in a fire in the boat, in the bridge of the boat, with the electronics going on fire, and one of the generators being blown and unable to pump water out. And then the Israeli soldiers, about 25 soldiers, boarded the boat, heavily armed with rifles, automatic weapons, tasers, knives, were extremely aggressive, ripped down the Palestinian flag, attempted to replace it with an Israeli flag, ripped down the Irish flag, attempted to rob it, and basically violently took control of our boat. They tasered someone on the Canadian boat and hijacked us and brought us in the direction of Ashdod in Israel. Yeah, so the conditions we faced were harsh. They were, in my opinion, a clear attempt to intimidate protesters, to make sure that people don't try to break the blockade again. I think they will prove to be wrong in that they won't have succeeded in their aim. We were strip searched down to our underwear. All of our electronic equipment, our phones, our computers, our cameras, was all taken off us so that our story about the violent assault on our boat couldn't be told. The lights were left on in our prison cell for the first night. All night people were forced to stand to attention regularly. We were sleep deprived. We were deprived of knowing what time it was. And for the first day we were kept in our cells for 21 out of the 24 hours of the day on the basis of our protests, but also the protests that took place around the world, including in Israel itself. Those conditions improved, for which I'd like to thank everybody who engaged in those protests. We were able to freely associate with each other, win political status, be able to have our reading material that was denied to us, our writing material. And so the conditions improved up until the final day when we were brought to another detention centre at the Ben Gurion airport, where in reality it was a hellhole. But again, we were only there for one night. People I was talking to, who I shared a cell with, spent days in there. And in general, I mean, the conditions were harsh, but we were there for 7 days. It's a tiny, tiny fraction of what the Palestinian people face, the Palestinian political prisoners, but also the 1.5 million people in the open-air prison that is in Gaza. And it's for that reason that we went to highlight the conditions that they face. And it's for that reason that I think all of us will continue to campaign to try and break the blockade of Gaza and end the oppression of the Palestinian people.